Of course, we all remember that infamous trade back in 2021 where the Bulls made arguably one of their biggest trades in years in trading for then All-Star Nikola Vucevic from the Orlando Magic in exchange for 2 first-round picks and Wendell Carter Jr. Otto Porter was also included in that deal as well, but that was just a throw-in for salary matching purposes. The 2 picks, though, of course, would ultimately become lottery selections after the Bulls failed to make the playoffs in 2021 and in 2023, and those 2 picks would ultimately turn into Franz Wagner and Jet Howard. To this day, the Bulls are still trying to pick up the pieces and fix that failed trade. And while I still believe the trade in a vacuum wasn't that bad considering the type of player Vucevic was at that time and the kind of season he was having, it's everything that has come after to construct a roster that was trying to win now and ultimately failed was what really did it for the Bulls. And while I think some of us still have PTSD in making that trade with the Magic and the idea of trading with that team again sounds triggering, there is a world where the Bulls could make yet another trade with the Orlando Magic, this time where roles are reversed and the Magic would send the Bulls draft capital and the Bulls would be sending them a win now established player. Who, you might be asking, and what would be the parameters of the trade that has been reported? Well, that's what we'll be talking about in this video. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Now, I want to be clear. Coby White, at least at the time of this recording, has not been linked to any potential trade rumors with the Orlando Magic, at least as it pertains to this summer. However, he was linked in a few trade rumors to the Magic back at the deadline, where the Magic were looking for an upgrade in the backcourt and more offensive firepower, given they were one of the worst teams in the league on offense last season. But because the Magic didn't make any trades at the deadline, their offense didn't improve post-deadline, and even though they made the playoffs, they got bounced in the first round as the 7th seed. And given all of that, you'd have to assume the Magic are still going to be looking to upgrade their roster this offseason, more specifically upgrade their backcourt and their overall offense. The Magic were 27th in offensive rating last season, 28th in overall scoring, and 29th in pace. They were the worst three-point shooting team in the league, and by a wide margin at that. An elite defensive team, no one will deny that, but atrocious on the offensive end. So what do they need? A guard who can handle the ball, be a shot creator, space the floor, knock down threes, but also can play off the ball so they can let Wagner and Banchero do their thing. Yeah, a guy like Coby White fits the bill. Now, what's been reported around the league, I believe Kevin O'Connor had initially reported this on the Magic, and they're looking to package Jonathan Isaac, Cole Anthony, and 2 first-round picks, their first-round picks for this upcoming draft at number 16 and number 25 for, quote, an upgrade. Now, I know people's initial reaction is going to be, you're going to trade Coby White for a couple late first-rounders, an injury-prone player, and Jonathan Isaac, who's solid defensively when he's healthy, but he can't stay on the court, and 4 more years left on his contract, by the way. It's only $15 million per year, but it's still $15 million over the next 4 years for a guy who can't play. And then Cole Anthony. I mean, you're talking about one of the more undersized, streaky players who is basically a poor man's Coby White. So yeah, the initial reaction is this is a garbage trade for Coby White. You're not getting good value for arguably your most valuable trade asset. But here's how you have to look at a package like this. Again, assuming it's even offered to the Bulls for Coby White. With the way things are going for the Bulls right now, meaning they're rebuilding or developing young players, youth movement, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to Coby White, he's obviously still a young player and he's improved tremendously over the last couple of seasons. You have to remember that Coby is going to be an unrestricted free agent next summer, and because he's proven to be a valuable player in this league, one of the better scorers in the game at all 3 levels, he's going to command a big payday. And so if you're the Bulls, you have to ask yourself, is Coby going to be a part of our long-term plan? Is he going to fit our timeline? Is he a player we can win with? Even if it's not a number 1 option, but a number 2 or number 3 option, is he going to be that guy? And if the answer is no, then you should obviously look to trade him before you potentially lose him for nothing when he becomes a free agent in 2026. So while I've seen these arguments and comments on social media about how Coby is way more valuable than whatever the Bulls could get with the 16th pick or the 25th pick, which you don't know that, but I understand the argument, but you shouldn't be looking at it that way. You should be looking at it in the sense that the Bulls are going into this draft with 3 first-round picks, 3 cracks at landing a player you can build with for the future, but more importantly, and I feel a lot of people are forgetting this, 3 cost-controlled assets, 3 players that are going to remain on their rookie scale deals for the next 4 years. And this is so valuable in today's new CBA environment where you're not up against the constraints of the tax aprons and you're able to build out a roster on cheaper deals. Coby is going to be commanding something in the ballpark of $30 million a year next season when he becomes a free agent. You add that to what the Bulls are going to need to pay Josh Giddey and obviously Patrick Williams' contract, you're now looking at a cap-constrained team for a roster that probably has a first-round exit as its ceiling. So yes, I get why you can argue that Coby, a former number 7 overall pick in the peak of his prime and already established player, is going to be better than anything the Bulls would otherwise get at 16 and 25. It's more about the flexibility for the long term and building a timeline that makes sense for this team going forward. Also, it's 2 first-round picks. Like, if you had told me the Bulls could get 2 first-round picks for Coby, sign me up for that. People just view it differently because they know what the picks are now. For some reason, I guess it feels different when you acquire future first, because there's always a chance that it could be a high pick if the team you traded with has a bad year and falls into the lottery. But more often than not, traded picks end up going in the middle to the first round anyway. So to me, I actually think it's good value for Coby White, especially when you consider the potential cost implications of signing Coby long term, and also the risk of losing him in free agency and you've gotten nothing in return for it. If it was just one of the Magic's pick, even if the 16th pick, I would say it's not worth it at that point. Get as much draft capital as you can, but what you might also forget is the Bulls can flip those picks for something else, either the picks before they're selected or the players they select later on down the line as young assets. The challenge with this trade are the players coming in. Cole Anthony I'm not as worried about because he effectively only has 1 more year remaining on his deal. He has a team option on the following season, so the Bulls can just decline that and let him walk in 2026. Jonathan Isaac, taking on his contract worries me because Isaac, even though I know he played the most games of his entire career last year, he still can't play more than half of a game because of his injury concerns and also his limitations on offense. Last year, he did not have a good season, didn't shoot the ball well, wasn't able to finish in the paint, and like I said, the man is still owed close to $60 million over the next 4 years. That's a contract that I guess in a way maybe almost cancels out one of those first round picks that would be coming to the Bulls, but I don't know. Is there a way that the Bulls can somehow extract Isaac's strengths, have him be a defensive anchor coming off the bench? By the end of the contract, that amount will probably be around the mid-level exception range. I mean, I can talk myself into it. I can talk myself into it being not that bad. But yeah, that would be the biggest thing giving me pause about a trade like this. But assessing the package overall, picks 16, 25, Cole Anthony, and Jonathan Isaac for Coby White, if it was offered, yeah, I would do that deal. I don't think it's a smashing deal where I would say the Bulls would be fleecing the Magic, but it's good value for Coby if you're the Bulls. Then, of course, obviously watch Coby go off and become an all-star and the Magic go on to have multiple deep playoff runs. Wouldn't that be fitting? Anyway, we keep hearing that there is going to be a lot of action around the league, and that action is going to come earlier than usual leading up to the draft. So we'll be able to find out soon enough on all of this. But in the meantime, I'll obviously keep you guys posted on the latest. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.